I mean, would you have a drone deliver packages to you?
I feel like I'm living in an episode of Parks and Rec. Oh wait, you wouldn't know.
I mean, that's what. Oh, hey, welcome to Tech Talk Tuesday. It's the first, and as Ashley would say, rabbit, rabbit. Is that a thing in your family?
No.
Yeah, it's not. But I've heard other people say it, so it's like it's not contained just to her crazy family. But yeah, whenever on the first, when she first wakes up, she'll say rabbit, rabbit. So now, Google that and get back to us and let us know what you find out and where that came from.
All right, we'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and by back, you mean you'll look up after that.
Yeah.
So another episode of Tech Talk Tuesday, where we take technology news from the past week, digest it, and it comes out. No, not out of there. Don't make it gross. It comes out of our mouths, and we're going to tell you all about it so that it's easily digestible for you, baby birds. Oh, it took a gross turn anyway, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
So with that, might as well just hop right in. Was talking about the drone delivery piece. Amazon just got their approval officially to fly Delivery Wow, Delivery Jones. I want to see Delivery Jones. I want to name like a drone Delivery Jones and just operate it. They're never going to certify me.
No,
for that at least. So that makes them the third company thus far, right behind Alphabet, aka Google, and shocker, UPS, right? So right now they could deliver up to 5 pounds within a 15-mile distance, and I think that's pretty cool. I think about the kinds of, especially if you do like the same day kind of delivery stuff, particularly with Amazon. I think it's typically things like, oh crap, I'm a lot further out of my deodorant than I thought I was. Or, you know what I mean? Or like, oh, I guess that really was the last toothpaste thing that we had. So, yeah, I mean, I could see the value there. Is this something that you kind of get into?
I mean, it's something that Amazon has talked about doing for a long time. So I've been like kind of excited to see it, but I think I'm not like super into having drones fly all over my neighborhood as well. So I don't really know where I sit on this. Like I'm very on the fence here in that I think the technology is cool, particularly if they can do it basically programmatically or autonomously. So like someone not having to actually fly it. Like I think that's really, really cool from a technology standpoint. But from like me just living and being a human in my neighborhood, I'm kind of like, I really don't know if I'd like this. I guess
it kind of reminds me of like Call of Duty when you would see the swarm
yeah.
come in. I don't know. I already look up at at planes sometimes and think, oh, it's a UAV, but it's not. It's not. But I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy, kind of almost predictive how the military uses things, and I can now see that that's potentially going to be a thing. I agree. I mean, any new technology, particularly airborne, comes with definite failure, right? Like there's a mean time to failure for everything. So that means what? I don't know. Does that mean just like one of the rotors goes out and it automatically compensates and everything's hunky-dory, or something much, much worse? So yeah, I don't know. I'm anxious to kind of see what this actually looks like.
Yeah, I think it maybe I just haven't done a ton of research into it, so maybe I'm just like a little wary of like safety concerns, like you were saying. But like, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that you've got to figure out there. Or like you're gonna have drones like falling out of the sky, hitting cars, hitting people, like just
because let's keep it real. 5 pounds from a that's good. That's not gonna feel good.
Yeah, it's not nothing.
So I'm with you. I guess we're on a wait and see, and we'll just add that to our bulleted list of things that we have to Google immediately following the show.
Oh yes, we will. Well, something I will not have to Google because I was watching the announcement today. So this is fresh off of their pressers. Nvidia is coming out with new cards. There have been plenty of leaks recently saying that this is coming, but this is going to be their new flagship card, as they say. It's the 3080. Nvidia like really kind of crushed it. I think they said during the press conference at one point that it's like the second largest jump that they've ever had in performance. But just this car, so their current like largest, fastest, best performing card is the 2080 Ti card, or the Titan card. And the normal base level, this 3080 is two times, or the performance is two times better than that, which is absolutely insane to think about, particularly because they were pushing the edges with the 2080 Ti card. And so they actually went back to the drawing board. They have a new architecture on this card. And the coolest part about this thing is that it is going to be coming in at $700. So it is like $500 less than the 2080 Ti is currently. And obviously that'll probably come down now. But yeah, so I mean, they hit the price point like right on it, which is something that the previous generation of cards did not do. They were very pricey from the start, and then there were low numbers of them, so the price got increased even more. But they did announce two other cards as well. So a cheaper and a more expensive option from the 3080. So the 3070 is right about at the level of the performance of the 2080 Ti. So it still can run basically anything, almost everything on Ultra, and still get very good performance. And that is going to come in at, I believe it's $500, $499. So yeah, so that's super, super cool. And then their new monster card, they actually call it the Big Ferocious graphics card, or graphics processing unit, is the 3090, and it comes in at $1,500. So that's a pretty penny, but it is the first card that is designed for 8K gaming. And yes, you heard that right, 8K gaming. So yeah, on top of this, Nvidia is promising a lot of other things with their card. On top of the improved performance, they're saying it's going to be quieter than the 2080 Ti. Like I think they said up to 3 times quieter, which is very crazy. Not that the 2080 Ti was quiet, but it's still significant. And then they also reworked the entire way that they do cooling, so it works with your case. So it'll pull air through itself, and then it like fans it out through your case's vent. So yeah, and so they're saying it's going to be significantly cooler temperatures than any of their previous cards as well. So all in all, it looks like Nvidia, if they truly do deliver on these things, yeah, I mean, they really knocked it out of the park with this generation.
Yeah, but can you mine Bitcoin? Yeah, I think this is fascinating. I feel like I barely got on the 4K. Like I'm just like got my toes barely over the line into 4K territory. Yeah, this is crazy for me. I can't even fathom 8K, which is what I said about 4K, until I could. But I mean, just to be able to operate at such high speeds, I mean, I'm not going to run out and get a $1,500 card. I mean, it's just probably not in the cards for me right now, no pun intended. Well, unless my mining operation does pick up some blocks, and then maybe we'll go do that. But is this something that you think you'll pop in?
I probably won't pop in the 3090. I think the next PCO build, I'll probably get probably the 3080, I would guess, because it seems a little more reasonable to me.
I agree.
And that kind of like future proofs for a while, I would hope. So yeah, I mean, if I'm going to build a new PC anytime soon, that's probably what I'd pop in. For people that are gaming on a budget, obviously the older generation cards will come down in price. So those are still great cards, guys. So yeah, you can definitely look into those. And then the 3070 honestly is a really good price point too, at $500 for a card. Like yeah, it's like your GPU is typically the most expensive piece. particularly if you're gaming or doing anything to do with videos. So I mean, for $500, that's pretty good entry into like the high end cards there. So
Yeah, that's it's pretty fascinating. I was just looking over at my box. I thought it was super cool when it was running a RX 580, and no,
not anymore.
sad. Well, I mean, you sound pretty boosted about it, so I'm guessing that this is definitely going to be on your shopping list at least. It's probably sometime in the next year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking to probably build a PC within the next year or so. So I will be keeping an eye on these, and hopefully the aftermarket prices don't skyrocket through the roof. But
Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
Yes. Well, in other news, that'll make your skin crawl, Neil.
Yay!
So Apple and Google, I think this is kind of cool on its own. They've expanded their coronavirus kind of notifications piece. So what they've done is created this framework. At first, when they kind of announced that they were going to do this kind of like contact tracing kind of piece and send out exposure notifications, which I think, I mean, I see the value in it, but I know that you have to give up something to take that on. So, I mean, there's definitely some privacy concerns there. But what I think is interesting, they've created this framework so that states, whereas they had to create their own apps, kind of from scratch and incorporate maybe a couple of API pieces that they had in their SDK. Now they've basically got it set so that they kind of don't have to do anything. You can go in, basically take this framework piece, like answers basically a wizard, and it will then basically kick out this app that you can push out to both the Google Play Store and then to the Apple iOS store. Hopefully you don't have any in-app purchases because too soon. We're not laughing about Apple.
No, I'm laughing.
I think that's kind of interesting, and it's cool to see like kind of the cooperation. It's cool to see just the sense of I think enabling something and that they truly believe in. Right, this is a very, I think, altruistic to some degree. Obviously, everything is about market share, and ultimately drives that. But I think there is some common good here for those that want to participate. So. Anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. I'm guessing this is not something that you're going to install, though.
I go really back and forth on this, particularly because I really care about the people around me, and so I really, if I can help, I want to help. But I just have a problem with large companies like tracking me and my data, and I know that they do that anyway, right? But yeah. I don't know. It's just something about like Google knowing like who I've been in contact with and that kind of stuff, which I know that they can do that any number of ways. And they don't need this app to do that for them. But it's just like another way of like giving up that layer of privacy and eroding that protection for myself. Right. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's like it feels like it's the right thing to do, but at the same time it's like, do I really want to give that privacy away? Because once you give it away, you can never get it back, or it's very hard to get it back.
No, you're not wrong.
So yeah, I mean, this is really cool. I really like that they are doing this. I like that large tech companies are coming together to try and help people and trying to help the world really get through the pandemic. Like I love that. It's just that privacy piece that always just, like you said, makes my skin crawl just a little bit, or it's just like that little voice in the back of your head scratching at you.
You can hear that too?
Is for me.
I thought I was the only one that could hear those voices.
No, it's typically their voice, and it's horrible. And yeah, I don't like it. So if you are a procrastinator, like some of us in this call, both Matt and I, these glasses just they just launched today on Indiegogo. And so they are supposed to help you alert you when you are procrastinating. So it uses machine learning to kind of figure out like what you should be doing. And you kind of train it to do this thing. And then there's various levels of things that you can do with it. It'll like spit out like pie graphs to like kind of show you what your day kind of looked like how productive you were. So if you wanted to just kind of like be more aware of that, or you could like give yourself alerts and say, hey, what are you doing? You need to actually be working. You can set like focus sessions, I think is what they called them. So yeah, these things are called specs. They're by Octafy. And so yeah, this is really interesting. But they're going to let you put prescription lenses in them as well, obviously. You can use it as a fitness tracking device. They'll have bone conduction speakers in them, so you can take calls and listen to music while using them. So yeah, I mean, obviously this comes with some privacy concerns again. Like, are we like taking photos, recording? But apparently it does this all within the hardware on the actual device itself. So like it does everything there. So they're not sending off any of your data ever, apparently. And so that's super interesting to me, in that they have something that can do all of the machine learning it needs to do in that small of a device. But yeah, so this was a crowdfunded endeavor, so we will see if it fails or falls flat on its face. But I think this is super cool. It's a very interesting idea. It kind of takes like the Google Glass or Google Glasses, whatever they were called, and is like taking that like next, right? And so yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to use it as a self-admitted procrastinator. I think that there are other ways to tackle it. But yeah, I think this is super cool. Even if you just use it for just like looking into like, hey, how focused am I actually being?
Yeah. I mean, the good news is if it does fall on its face, it will actually recognize that.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. And then it'll say, hey, you're not focusing on what you're supposed to be doing.
You know what? I always thought that it would be cool because again, this is like I remember like I'm one of those people that say, oh, I remember faces, but I forget names. I want to just a whisper in my ear, like, oh, hey, that's so and so.
Oh, hey, that's Matt Ray.
Right. Especially when I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, well, that is me, but or is it? But no, I think this is really cool. I agree with you. I'll be very interested to see kind of how they get all of that fixed into a kind of small, lightweight package that can run for some time. It doesn't look like the Google Glasses, right? Because that's even the revised Google Glasses still look like Google Glasses, and the Snapchat lenses, I got to give them credit. They didn't even try. They just went like, it's going to look crazy. But yeah, no, I think that's really cool, man.
Yeah. So with that, that's the last thing that we have today. So thank you for joining us on this edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. If you want to read up on any of the things that Matt and I talked about today, outside of Matt being a procrastinator, you can find them in the description below. So yeah, go look at those, particularly the graphics cards. They have some very cool renders. So yeah. And then, yeah, so follow us, or while you're down looking at those descriptions, how about you go ahead and subscribe? That way you don't miss any future editions of Tech Talk Tuesday. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, join us sometime, guys. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Obviously, you are looking at the screen, and we still do not have a graphic. Yeah, I'm blaming Matt again for that. And yeah, so thanks again for joining us on this edition, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
I want a pair of those glasses.
Yeah, I know, man.
But really, the card.
Yeah, really, if someone could just gift me that 3090, I'd be so happy.